Sam and Raymond. Unfortunately, after speaking with all these lovely ladies, one of you will be headed home tonight.
My heart is pumping.
Don't say it no more. Put some respect on my name.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Blab, but you know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Ready to Love, and we're dealing with Sam and why he got sent home from the Ready to Love Last Resort. And so today we are talking about fact, be regal, but don't be Sam, okay? Guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the what? Uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returning as well, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. All right, cool. Don't forget as well to grab your merchandise as well. All right, cool. So, we are talking about, obviously, Sam from Ready to Love. We watched him in two specific places. We saw him talking to Shay. That didn't go well. We saw him talking also to Alex as well. And that seemed to have a bit of a better result. But I think that's more to do with Alex more than anything. But I just watched it again and just compiled what went wrong with the Sam situation in regards to why he was sent home. I really believe that Sam is somebody who's a deep thinker and somebody who talks on a deeper level, right? And unfortunately, when you are a deep thinker and deep talker, you've got to be able to communicate also not only on the depths but also on the shallows of water. Okay, there are certain types of fish that never come above the deep waters, okay? And there's certain fish that never go deep. You understand? And when you are in a competition place and you're trying to make a first good impression, it's good to be regal, but you can't be to a place where you are so deep that no one else is able to decode you. Okay?
Repetitiveness of doing the same motions, and it takes a toll over time.
Like, what's going on here? To be honest with you, I absolutely love what I do.
Okay, we want deep that mystifies, but we don't want deep that is unable to be decoded. And I'm going to break that down and explain what that means, okay? One of the issues that Sam had in the actual show was that there's a lack of eye contact, okay? Now, this is a big thing when it comes to human interaction.
I told myself for a long time that, you know what, forget marriage, forget relationships, that can be cool. But I realized that I do need love.
One of the ways that we're able to trust human beings is eye contact. Because one of the things that we're told consistently, psychologically, apparently, is that when people lie, they look left or they look right or they look up or they look down. There is a lack of eye contact, right? Because oftentimes we see that from children. When children are lying, they look down, they look sideways, they can't look you deep in the eye. Do you know why? Because they feel ashamed and embarrassed that they've been caught about to tell a lie, right? And so we translate that as adults as when you can't keep eye contact, you're either doing something wrong or you're not very confident. And so when Sam is talking, he does it a little bit with Shay, where he starts talking and he's looking not at her but in a different direction. You see, when you look at somebody, it adds intensity. You know, when you're talking to them, you look directly at them. Let me look at the camera and look at you directly. Look, when I'm looking at you in a certain way and I'm talking directly to you, no, you. See you, know, right now, you're looking at the camera. Look, don't turn away. Listen, I'm talking to you. Right now, listen to the sound of my voice. How you feeling today? You're right, yeah? You good? Okay, cool. What you been on today? All right, cool. Hey, tell me one thing that was good about your day today. All right, cool. I feel that. Right? Intensity is in the eyes. It shows that you're interested, you're wanting to engage with them, okay? Not only just on a verbal, but a non-verbal communication. You see, in order for somebody to receive the information, it goes in two formats: verbal, non-verbal. And so when the verbal is speaking and it's being downloaded, but then the non-verbal doesn't correlate with the verbal, there's confusion in a person's brain. And so what Sam was doing was talking but not communicating with the non-verbal, right? And he showed a little bit of distance and a little bit of social awkwardness when he didn't want to engage with the eye contact. Okay, so that's a very big thing. Number two, when we see him originally, he starts off by standing outside. He's by himself. No one's talking to him. He's just doing his own kind of thing, right? And this is where it's going to become interesting. Certain males, okay, remember, we're making that first impression now. Certain males, when they stand on their own, due to the outer exterior, maybe even the energy that they're carrying, okay, people are drawn to them irrespective of whether they're on their own or with people.
Okay. I
Unfortunately, Sam, though being taught how to be regal, doesn't carry regal energy. There's no royal energy there. Yeah. So and that royal energy often comes with status and power. Yeah. And so when you don't carry those things in your step, you don't carry it in your artillery, in your artillery. You don't carry it in your arsenal, right? The way you walk and talk and move tells me everything you need to know. There's a certain swagger that you move with. Yeah, there's a certain way that I move my head when I'm talking. You know where I'm coming from. If you're from London, if I'm from UK, you might hear my accent. You'll be like, okay, this guy's from London. And the way that I'm moving my head, you'll see that there's certain things, certain mannerisms are communicating something to someone. So when Sam is standing there by himself, nice shirt by the way, prim and proper, it's yellow, it's a bit bright. Got the trousers going on, cool. He's looking dressed part to proper, but the energy that he's carrying isn't necessarily royal for me. And you don't carry a status as well, what people know about. If you were KJ Smooth, because people already kind of know about you, people will be drawn to you, right? Also, if you because people, and you know, and I'll give you an example. There are some people in this world when they stand in a room alone, okay, and they carry the energy of invisibility. So irrespective, people are just invisible to them. People will just miss them. People will miss them. Because the energy they carry and the perception of themselves and the way that they think begins to show outwardly, even in the way that they stand. And I'm telling you, man, that's why the perception goes beyond just what I see. It's a feeling. You know what I mean? It's a feeling. So oftentimes people can carry a certain energy. He's not short, he's tall. So he should already have a height advantage over some people, right? But it's not that. It's the energy he brings. So you have to ask yourself a question.
They listen to the with the chef.
So, whoa, a critical question here, which is what energy are you bringing? You see, alpha males that we talk about carry a certain energy. Remember last season, Brett was somebody also who liked to be on the outside. Brett was somebody who liked to be on the edge. Brett didn't want to engage. Brett is a Sigma male. And Sigma males like to be on the outskirts, okay? They don't want to play the game. So you heard him say it to Alexis, I wanted to wait and then come in at the right time. Sigma males do not want to play to the social hierarchy. They don't want to be involved, yeah? Alpha males, you spot them straight away. You know them. I don't have to point them out. You know them, okay? Yeah, you got your gammas and your deltas. We can deal that another time. But gamma, deltas, and omegas, okay? If you see some of them, what he was presenting to us on that screen, to me anyway, wasn't alpha and it wasn't sigma. And I'll tell you why it wasn't sigma. A sigma is like an eagle circling. The eagle circles, it sees the prey and it swoops down, bam. But when he swooped down into Shay, there wasn't the confidence. There wasn't the precision. The question that you asked took too long to get to the point of the question. It was boring and dull.
Repetitiveness of doing the same motions, and it takes a toll over time.
By the time it got to it, the thing had lost its heat. Not only that, when he approached her, they were outside, which means they had started talking outside. And when she got to the inside, she was tired. She didn't want to talk no more because he had lost her interest because of the way that he was swooping in.
Shay, nice to meet you.
You can only be a prince for so long. You have to develop into being a king, right?
It lacked the mysteriousness. It lacked the kind of, I don't know, it's hard to put into words what I'm talking about, right? But it just didn't have it. And we can explain it more when we talk about Alex and himself, and we'll break it down a bit more. And so the regal stance that he had, the way he carried his drink, it's regal. It's royal the way you do it. Hold on. It's royal the way you do it. It's regal the way you do it, right? And so I feel it, right? But you've got to then translate that into when you go and speak to someone. Carry that same regalness, that same royalness, right? But again, oftentimes, if you don't have the status to back it up, then it becomes a difficult issue to do so, right? And so you see him, how he walks and the way he handshakes, you know, that even the hand to lip mannerism that he did before he spoke, all regal stuff, all royal kind of stuff. But actually what came out of the mouth wasn't royal. You see, so you can give the exterior of a royalty in terms of maybe you know how to be it, but are you it? There's a difference. You know, I can know how to be confident, but am I confident? That's the difference. You know, the know-how isn't the doing. You know what I mean? And so it's interesting because obviously I didn't understand what Shay meant by obviously he doesn't match my fly. I don't know what that meant. That was code for something else. Because it wasn't really clear to me. Maybe it's an American term. Please, if you're American, let me know down below in the comment section. What I was say is obviously as well is that the question that he asked Shay, I still don't know what the question was. I know the question was around cooking and about the fact she was there. I still don't know what the question was. That's exactly what I think. Who was saying it? Danny said he says a little bit and just enough. He doesn't say a lot. But when he is saying something, it's not banging. It's not landing. It's not dropping. Do not be that person that says, I'm waiting for the opportunity. And when you do get the opportunity, you don't let it stick. You don't hit it hard. You don't come correct. You got one chance and one chance only. And you don't hit it the way you need to hit it. You understand? If you struggle with conversations and being able to be precise with the questioning, listen, you just practice this in the mirror. Yeah? Practice in the mirror. When I'm doing my YouTube, before I started, I had to start practicing in the mirror. I started practicing my presentation skills. I started doing I did acting anyway beforehand. So I had no problem with the camera, but it's a practice to get better, to get comfortable, to speak, be confident in your craft. Yeah. Okay. And so he was talking to Alex, and Alex is a lovely person. Listen, she is much more appreciative of Sam than Shay was. And I don't think Shay was even rude, because I think Shay was really polite in the fact she said, listen, I need to get some water. I've had Prosecco. It was a nice little getaway. I appreciate that for that. Alex was obviously trying her best to stick with him, right? I'm sure her eyes looked, I personally think her eyes looked droopy. I personally think her eyes looked heavy, and I think she was tired. I'm going to be real with you. I think she was tired. She looked tired.
In a sense though, and I feel I have that right and to be loved just as much as anybody else, and I want to give that out,
I get bored easily.
Like, as she was talking to him. And the reason why is because when you're going on to deeper levels of explaining your life, what you've experienced, it's a bringing. I've got to bring you on this journey. You know what I mean? I've got to captivate you by bringing you on this journey. So that's why the eye contact is super important, because that is a big difference between you now telling me a story about your life that's engaging and you telling me a story about your life and I want to yawn. Yeah, it's a big difference. It's one of the aspects of it. That, alongside obviously tone and intonation of how you pronounce certain words, very critical. So, for instance, let me tell you something. So if I'm talking to someone, like, so if I'm gonna go deep with somebody, I would like, okay, so it's a mad thing, the way that I think sometimes. Like, for instance, sometimes I feel like I'm a bit of an outcast in this world. Yeah. And the reason why sometimes I feel like I'm a bit of an outcast in this world is because the way that I think sometimes, I think in a very abstract manner, right? And sometimes I don't fully always understand everything that I'm thinking. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, when I say I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, what I'm looking for is some small feedback. Yeah, that brings you in, right? And if you've given me the go-ahead to have a conversation and say my piece, then you should sense it in the conversation. The person's going, okay, oh, I hear you. Okay, what does that actually mean? They should add some little tidbits to let you continue your conversation, right? And then you know that you've got them on hook. The eye contact is to make sure that they're actually paying attention. You know what I mean? So that's so critical, so important, and needed in order for you to communicate with the other person effectively. And he wasn't doing that. When he was communicating with Alex, he was looking elsewhere. And listen, don't get it twisted. There are times when you're talking to someone and you can't fully look at the person, innit? But these are first impressions. If you're going to go deep, make sure you got eye contact then. This is your first impression. This isn't someone you know already. If you know them already, then you can turn your eyes away. This is first impression. So give me some eye contact.
And I feel like there could be some potential connections that just haven't been made yet.
I feel like there's plenty of opportunity moving forward now with that.
Give me some intensity. You know what I mean? Make me feel something about what you're saying. Let me feel the emotion. You feel me? Yeah? And so that the deep thought is not alone, but you're taking me on this journey with you, And so very much like how Kalafani and Denise were. You saw Kalafani looking at Denise. When he asked the question, he was looking at Denise. She too was looking back at him, just to create the bond of what they're talking about. And if she wasn't looking at him, her feet was on his legs anyway. So there was a connection there. Create that bond, And so what I think it was
saying no.
Same.
He's not saying a lot. He's just saying enough. Very monotone, very just like straight. I mean,
Flat.
yeah.
Who we not feeling?
Danny, who said obviously, you know, he's not saying a lot. He's just saying enough. And it's like Sam is somebody who's always, like I said, I believe he's a deep thinker, and maybe the thoughts are in his head and he's not sure how to get the thoughts out of his head. But the truth of the matter is, he's got to be able to communicate. This is why communication is such a heavy thing. He's not for the show. He's not a bad person. He's just not for the show. His type of woman will come along. Trust me, there are women that will want to go along that way with him. But if you're on a show like this where it's competition, you've got to be able to free what's in your head outwardly. Create mystique, create mystery. Absolutely. Don't have to talk too much, but bring me on the journey. Ask about me. Ask questions. Bring me in this conversation. It's a conversation because we're both talking. And so, you know, he said something at the very end. He said, obviously, look, you know, if he had more time, they would have peeled the layer off. But that's the point. It's like they didn't get any layers off you, bro. Because when you were talking, you weren't bringing them on that journey. So maybe you felt like you were unraveling, but you weren't bringing them on a journey. So they weren't peeling off the layers at all because they weren't on that journey. And so that's why intensity of the eye glare is important. That's why I'm looking at you right now. I'm telling you, listen, look, it is important to have eye contact. It's important to change the tone sometimes because certain words make a difference. If you're monotone, then it ain't pretty. It's really not. It's like we say monotone things like the news for a reason, so that it doesn't alarm or create emotion that's not necessary. That's the news, presenting factual facts. But when you're dealing with human beings, there is emotion. There should be a change, an intonation change in the way that you say certain things. So yeah, guys, I'm going to say it there. I'll make sure you like, you share, subscribe, and click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you, man. Let us know your thoughts down below, baby.